Fine. Curities has run its course now. What? I admit it. All of it. What? What are you doing? Exactly as the Japanese man said. I was causing to going along with his man plot to murder the victim, on the condition that he kept my dirty secret from 10 years ago. Good lord! The society, you realize what you are saying, woman? It's all true. That day, when I arrived at the Crystal Tower and saw the birdcage, my heart nearly stopped beating. A memory from a decade ago that I'd done my best to bury deep inside myself was the professor again, staring me in the face. And then, before I had a chance to react, I noticed something else. A letter? There was a note tucked inside the model jacket. Little Society, you will go along with my plan. From someone who knows the truth about what really happened tonight 10 years ago. Okay, whatever. All the instructions were there in the note. Every detail was meticulously written down. I had no choice but to do what it said. I made the necessary alteration to the scene and fabricated the autopsy report as instructed. There was really no other choice. It had to be done to protect the judiciary. I can only apologize now. But it's not the end, isn't it? Why on earth would you buckle now? Well, there's no point trying to hide it anymore, is there? I will have done anything to stop it coming out, even collaborate in a murder. But then great lie about the execution. That execution 10 years ago has been exposed. Whatever happens, I'm finished anyway. So then, Mr. Draper, what do you say to that? Your accomplice has admitted everything. Surely it goes without saying. You admit your part into it, then? No, I admit nothing! At all. What? Have you forgotten that the kinesis machine was ripped to shreds by an explosion? Short of me admitting to a crime, there's really no possible way for you to prove I did anything wrong. Shut. Order. Whatever this man says, I admit everything. He threatened to expose my secret, so I went along with his plan. And Loban asks, yes. I hope you accept my apology. What happens next is in your hands, of course. I've heard more than enough now. I hereby present the final findings of this court. This trial is not the proper forum in which to pursue the alleged wrongdoings of Mr. Draper. The defendant is Professor Albert Haberine. Very true, it has slipped my mind. He's one of your closest friends. I totally forgot about him. I thought I heard that society has admitted the allegation brought by the defense, thereby absolving the defendant of any possible guilt. Okay. You mean... Yeah, you win. Go home. The present time is the conclusion of this court that the defendant was not involved in any wrongdoing. Does the prosecution have any objection? It was like, I'm done. Like, the judge was like, I'm done. Congratulations, Mr. Naruhodo. You're proving your professor by innocency. Without further ado, the adjudication. Unless the prosecution or defense have any other to discuss. No, I guess so. No, it doesn't feel quite right. Why didn't you just decide to suddenly into it like that? Is everything alright, Mr. Naruhodo? Like I said before, the way the trial is set to end now, the judge will certainly deliver a verdict of not guilty. But is that really what we want? What the defense should be pushing for now is immediate further testimony. I asked for further testimony. I'm eating some.
Objection!
Cool. Am I object to the trial ending this time, my lord? I beg your pardon. with a mallet on final testimony. What? What? What are you talking about? Oh, yeah, I'm about to look in favor of your clients, you reckon? What are you playing now, my little friend? Or would you want to obstruct the conclusion of the trial at this point? No offense, a lawyer in his right mind will do that. I'm not any lawyer, bitch. Mr. Naruhodo, what exactly are you thinking? I do the whole truth. I'm going to bring it all in one into the open. Right. Yes, in hindsight. If in the course of the trial this afternoon, you perceive even a shadow of doubt about the truth, don't let it out on your side. Pursue it like a dog with a bone. A bitter end, you understand? Do not falter, whatever it may come to pass. I'm sure Mr. Joe knew. He must have deduced that this will happen. Yes, I'm here. It's a call to advocate for my client. And to secure an outcome. Obviously. Obviously. Yeah. Do I need to repeat myself? But not so. I believe I have the duty to the court to pursue the whole truth of the case until the very last details is laid bare. That is why the defense calls for further testimony from Dr. side. Testimony from me? Oh wow. About the nature of your collaboration with Mr. Enoch Draven. In case escape your attention, I've already admitted to everything I did. The whole truth has already been revealed. So stop wasting everyone's time. His lordship made very plain. Your clients will get everything all you wanted for him. There's simply no point in protracting this business further with another tedious cross-examination.
Objection!
I kinda wish Kazuha just all these left hand just to catch the bottle mid-air. Please forgive my careless handling on the hollow bottle has slipped. That's what you call it. What's your objection? The prosecution also calls for supplementary testimony from the witness. Don't be stupid. If there is more of this case than has yet come tonight, then I will join my learned friend in pursuing the fight until the bitter end. With what? Of exists. My body. My hateful body. My passive-aggressive body. My semi-racist body. It's more regular to say the least. However, as the prosecution also calls for it, I will uphold the request. To the side, you will testify for the court. Explain the full extent of your involvement in the murder apparently committed by Mr. Draper. I will. Okay. I'll just swallow. Whoa. No beginning at the scene when I saw the waxwork and the note tucked inside the jacket. Okay, we can agree with that. The outer body of the victim, as indicated in the note instruction, was a neat experimentation stage. The body has been arranged in a certain way to implicate the defendant, which was my job, at least to help the entire forensic investigation team to dress the scene appropriately. I told about his execution 10 years ago. It's a state secret of the highest level I had to protect. So I was right, the stage and the machine were all specially designed for deception. So it seems, and all meticulously prepared, you did well to see through it. Too well. You're a very shrewd boy. So kind of you to say. And what about his autopsy report then? All I did was record the location of that body as being the Crystal Tower instead of under the stage. That's all. That's terrible corruption. Only my team were aware of the decision and only under my explicit instruction. Nobody else at the Scotland Yard knew anything about it, I assure you. You must be thankful for small mercies, I suppose. Mercies? Well, I believe that testimony has clarified everything. There's no particular need for cross-examination, I would say. No, I disagree. I share the feeling that there's something wrong. There's always something wrong. Just look at the expression on Mr. Doctor's... Mr. Doctor. Miss Doctor. Or Mrs.? Miss? Anyway, the defense arrived cross-examine any witness from the testimony. Oh, she's smiling. We must cross-examine her. What is about you Japanese that makes you all doggedly persistent? Well, if you desire, cross-examine it is. Yes, my lord. Oh, okay. Can we please be done? Go begin. Okay.
Hold it!
When you say arrange, I presume you mean with this. Yes, the instruction to engineer noticed something along the line of fabricate some evidence to make it clear that the hairbrand alone could have killed us. So you mean that was your doing? I fetched the hairbrand ridiculous screwdriver from the stage and took it with me, alone, to the abyss under the stage where the birdcage had fallen. Alone, Doctor? I didn't feel it would be appropriate to involve anybody else in that particularly part of the deception. Oh, there it is. Was a void under the stage, where I found the birdcage lying dirt. I approach it, lean down, slowly open it up. Wow, it's so much smaller. It was a huge screwdriver. Then I took the screwdriver in both hands and plunged into the man chest. Aha! Very descriptive. Interesting they even done an animation for it. Then you noted that your fake autopsy report as a fictitious cause of death. Exactly. So the actual cause of death was the trauma resulting from the 30-foot drop. My word. What is it, Mr. Sutter? Something about Dr. Silas' statement. It's playing on my mind as well. Yes, mine too. Yes, guess what? Mine too. But society. There is no need to shout, I can hear you perfectly well. The fans calls you to add what you said your formal testimony. Oh, which part? What I wonder, what she did to the victim. You stabbed me sides at the chest, apart, blah blah blah. Fine, it's what you want, that there's really no need to point. The prosecution concurs. He's a little bit bothered by that. If you wish, my lord.
Objection!
I got a nasty feeling that his inconsistency points to an extremely uncomfortable truth. What on earth is that matter, Counsel? Have you lost your tongue? No, I lost a bit of air in my lungs. I apologize, my lord. The society's that last statement of yours, there's just one point that seems to defy explanation. Yeah? Out with it, my learned friendo. There's obvious inconsistency between your description and this photograph. Which shows the victim in the birdcage following the events that led to his death.
Objection!
The world has already examined the photograph in depth. There's nothing new we can
Objection!
There is actually one very important thing. Already consider it, that's true. We know the facts to be different. What do you mean? I believe we should let the defense explain. Well, this photograph will see the alleged inconsistency with the witness statement.
Take that!
I hope so. Point what makes no sense. We're being made at this very moment by your index finger.
Take that!
We cross out the bloodstain of the victim chest. The clear stand on downwards direction towards the man's feet. No, I cheated. I'm sorry. And why is that significant, Counsel? Absolutely no idea what it was. If the victim was stabbed moments before the kinesis machine was set in motion, that's entirely expected. Of course. No, that's not what happened. Exactly, my lord. But Osaya made it very clear in her testimony just now that the point at which she stole Professor Harvard's screwdriver and stabbed the victim was after a grand deception was set in motion, but the birdcage had fallen below the stage and out of sight. From the shape of it is clear that the birdcage would have fallen on its side after the 30-foot drop. And if the victim was really being stabbed while it's inside the birdcage in that position, the blood from the wound will have spread out equally in all directions. Where is that form the longest? Longitudinal appearances we see in the picture is inconceivable. I'm losing so much mana. I'm losing a fuck ton of mana. Given the victim blood seeped vertically downwards from the wound, it must be the case that when you stabbed Mr. Asman, he was standing up. In short, Dr. Society. Your later testimony is a total fabrication. We'll never ever figure out. I knew it. I was right. When I identified the contradiction, there is only one way to explain the facts. We'll all be under great misapprehension here. What? This thing? What sort of misapprehension? Total sighting. You claim you were coerced into helping Mr. Draper as a result of the note he left in the waxwork. You claim that you made changes to the scene of the crime to implicate the defendant. You claim that you altered a fake autopsy report to cover your tracks. Well, one of those claims is out and out a lie. Because the question of what the bloodstain really tells us, it has only one possible answer. If that stinks the case, what is it, man? Man, tell me! Counsel, you clearly struck upon a revelation. Now tell the court what it is. Which part of Dr. Sai's story is shown to be a lie, but the contradiction it doesn't? Stabbing? The autopsy? Oh, everything. Like, everything. The answer is very simple if you consider the sequence of events. When the victim was stabbed, the blood from the wound seeped downward, indeed. We can be sure that the victim must have been either sitting or standing upright at the time. As you rightly pointed out, the birdcage would have fallen on his side when he fell beneath the stage. Yes, it would, which you tell us that the victim must have been in the position for his own.
Objection!
That's impossible. The man was dead, remember? No, that's a misapprehension. When the birdcage fell from the stage in a void below, it must have hit the ground with considerable force. But he survived, this is what he's saying. She's saying. But Mr. Hammond didn't die in the fall. So she decided to finish him! He probably lost consciousness for a while, but when they came around, he got his feet climbed out of the cage. As Dr. Saidi appeared. If the victim was in fact alive at the point in time, it changed everything. Mr. Odiasman killer wasn't the defender, Professor Albert Hardbrain. Nor was it the mastermind behind the stage trickery, Mr. Enoch Draper. It was you, Dr. Courtney Sighting. Ora! Can't this possibly be true? Have you been taking me for a fool? It was you, was it? You killed him? You hope that by admitting to be an accomplice in Mr. Draper's scheme, the trial will end. Before you were accused of far worse crime. Cold-blooded murder. do? Won't you shut up? You're so desperate now, you're making all these up as you will do something
Objection!
like that. I assure you, the defense is not desperate, Doctor. Mr. Roy established the facts using evidence and logic alone. Ha! Logic? Don't make me laugh. Sadly, your logic has got me holding it. What? What do you mean? I haven't told you it was obvious. A motive, boy. You're lacking a motive. What possible reason would I have to kill Mr. Osman? Osman was involved in any number of criminal activities or coercion to have the murder, but there is no unknown connection to Dr. Saidi there. I'm rather relieved to say it does seem somehow far-fetched. True, there's no obvious motive. There's still something in the back of my mind. You feel so sure it's in something somewhere that hints why the coroner might have done the. I might have tampered with the crime scene and concocted a fake report. But murdering someone for no reason is very different.
Objection!
No, when you question what possible reason you could have for wanting to kill Mr. Osborne, something did come to mind. What? This case. What was it, Counsel? And light I called at once. Yes, we saw it yesterday, didn't we? Something that seemed strange, but we had no reason to suspect at the time. There's a particular object explained direct mask calculator to school. There's something object explaining why they will have wanted to kill Mr. Osborne. The scalpels. The scalpels. Yeah, it's a terrible thing. I don't know. I'd rather scalpels. You say scalpels? Scalpels? You mean scalpels? What scalpels? Yeah, that's scalpels. I will appear that what has struck a chord, Doctor. You. Come on with it! It was yesterday when we visited your laboratory. Your laboratory. Our laboratory. Look at this big thick book, yeah? And the pictures of the county ledger is a record. The forensic investigation team is pending, I think. Oh, what is it? It's clear that the team purchased various equipment. It supplies on a monthly basis, but all on entry seems rather strange. Really? What they want? In what way? Just buying 500 scalpels every month. Every month, 500 scalpels. 500 scalpels? A month? At first I wondered what on earth you could be using so many scalpels for. But actually I realized now, it's not the scalpels themselves that are significant. It's the money for them disappearing every month through the department accounts. As my criminal organization rely heavily on extortion for its funding. Raising money from the forensic investigation team account to find out where it was going would be extremely straightforward. 10 years ago, when Mr. Osman was still a journalist and wrote his article about Mr. Draper, he may well have stumbled upon information and he was researching their story. Information relating to Dr. Sadi's darkest secret that he would use to raise money from her for the next decade. Her darkest secret? Oh Lord, you mean... I don't know what happened on the night of that execution 10 years ago, but clearly the opportunity to rid yourself of that menace was too tempting myself. So in the end, you weren't coerced at all, were you? You did entirely on your own free will. You stabbed Mr. Osman in the heart with all your might to silence the blackmailer who knew your dark secret forever. You never understand, none of you. What have we had to keep covered up all these long years? As very little, the machine remains after it was ripped apart by the bomb. The truth of these cases has never been properly established unless you speak out. And if you decide not to, it's very possible that the court inside will escape punishment for her crimes. Please, sir, own up what you've done and tell the court the truth about what happened. 10 years ago, you told the truth and you were robbed of a bright and successful future as a result. I can certainly understand your bitterness and your consternation now, however. You surely the chance you've been waiting for, to subvert the hold that fate had over you all these years. Super high voltage instantaneous kinesis. I mean, really. It's the odd brain mock scientists I've ever the worst to you know. They don't recognize the fact they don't have talent, they can't even get that right. They say they're up chasing possible dreams, having unbridled faith in their abilities. They go on and on about their wonderful hypothesis, their stupid eyes shining like a little child's. They make me sick. Can I bite their foolishness? Careful, Mr. Draper. I was particularly pleased with the kinesis machine. It made for quite a show, didn't it? You admit it? You admit that it was nothing more than a sham made for the purpose of killing the victim? Yes, I admit it. I did it all in name of revenge. Revenge for the future that Mr. Asman's article had deprived you of 10 years earlier. But the revenge you sought didn't stop Asman, did it? We just were at a very particular waxwork company. Yes, I see. Condemned convict that you saw rising from the grave in Longgate Cemetery 10 years ago. Your account of those events was all true. And obviously Cotton Yard couldn't afford to acknowledge what had happened. Even if the man discredited a bright young man and crushed any future career he might have had. So your plan required that you opt out that particularly waxwork model, in order to exact your revenge as Contra Yard as well, or on Dotto Society to be precise. It was a year ago. By some extraordinary twist of fate, Asman turned up at my workshop. He didn't remember where I was, of course. He just wanted to employ my service as an engineer. And he happened to have a paper with him. An article on the front page caught my eye about the coroner who handled the bogus autopsy being appointed the head of the new forensic team. When I learned that news, my cognitive process started to devise the plan. What a horrid tale. He robbed me of my future, so I wanted to use the man's own wiles against him for revenge. I'd have that rotten Scotland Yard eating out of my hand at the same time. I wanted them all to suffer the same humiliation I had to suffer. Your action against those who ruined your future were justified as revenge, at least to yourself. Certainly, no one has the right to destroy another prospects, especially for purely selfish gain. And yet, in carrying out your plan, you did exactly what that to someone else, didn't you? Did I? Professor Harber's only crime was passion for his hypothesis, but you had no compunction about sacrificing his future to fight your revenge. You knew that he would be forever branded as a failure and a fraud. Perhaps life treated you unfairly 10 years ago, and the misconduct left your life in tatters. But remember this, your own action, resulting in exactly the same thing for another perfectly innocent young man. Demand 6, what of Dotto Society? An immediate warrant of her arrest has been granted, and she be remained in custody, my lord. I presume she will face trial in the coming days along with Mr. Draper. A most regrettable situation indeed. She made a great contribution to her profession over the years. It really is a hard truth to swallow. However, that is a topic for some future occasion. For now, Professor Harbrain. Yeah? It seemed there was a great deal more to your experiment than you realize. However, I think we can assume now that all the sordid details have been brought to light. It has been a very long and profound trial, and I'm pleased to say that you are absolved of all guilt. So experience has taught me a very great but painful lesson. This dedicated scientist, this devotee of natural philosophy. I've been selfish, self-centered above all of all. Professor? I spent my life thinking of nothing but my research. Misguidedly believing that I could do whatever I set my mind to, despite my lack of talent. And the worst of this, in the process I've caused others pain and misery. Others who are far, far greater people than I. No, Professor, that's not true. That's very uncharacteristic of Van to say. Don't tie yourself with the same brush as the What happened was him doing as his own. His outcome is his fate, nor yours. You're not to blame in any way. Of Van the region with which he referred to you earlier, calling you a fool and talentless even. The man has no idea. To believe in yourself and work your fingers to the bone to realize your dreams, that's a laudable, not laughable. No one has the right to deride another for such choice. Thank you, Barak. So, ladies and gentlemen of the jury. Yes, my lord. It is court expectation you find the defendant not guilty of the charge on which he stands accused. Presume there is no objection? None from me, my lord. Certainly not. This trial really made me think, but this is the right decision. It's all been proven methodically and rigorously, I have no misgiving whatsoever. What's that? It done? It's over? I don't know what become of the yard these days to recognize the place. Very well. In that case, I hereby pronounce the defendant. Oh, not the door. Oh, shit. Court is adjourned. Is he stand? Oh no. No, I hope so. I was on trial. Yeah, it was longer as a trial. Mm-hmm. The best though was find the outcome, isn't it? Here it is. Congratulations, Professor Albring. Mr. Naruhodo, Mr. Sato. I'm truly, because I myself with gratitude. How can I thank you enough? You guys all been cleared up. I realized you were just cut out investigation. I know. If I had the research grant money. I get the whole talk to you. Every penny! Oh well, that's very kind of, but I'm just a student, so... We don't need any financial reward. We need something more. No, actually it's more than enough. I'm a student, and they're poor. I still don't pay taxes in society. What can I do, huh? Oh, it is a memento. The paper about my hypothesis inside. Well, that's a memento then, thank you. You're wondering, Professor, what are you going to do now? Oh my, yes, what I'm going to do. The hypothesis and my great machine lie in ruins. Great, but still it's been too long since I was last in London, so perhaps I enjoy some sightseeing. I just brought a great exhibition with Liston here, to see if the new inspiration hits me. I have a strong feeling we're gonna meet him again. Hello there. Huh? What? No one's this. What are you talking about? Barak. I'm sorry you had to go through that, August. Well, for months it was terrifying. Well, like a great demon behind your bench there, snarling down on your prey. What? Sorry, you read. You're one of the few true friends I have. I couldn't have it. I couldn't leave it to anybody else to handle the prosecution or the defense. Sorry? Or the defense? Did I just hear that right? Did I see that right? You talking about me? Nobody knew that you and my best interests are hard, don't worry. Now how about you show me around while I'm here in town? It's been a long time since we left university. We have a lot to catch up on. Listen, Albert. In a few days your acquittal will be made official. When that happens, you must head straight to the Dava. I'll accompany you. What? From there, you will cross the channel and make your way back to Germany. I already purchased the tickets. But no! Hold a minute, Barak! What about the greatest exhibition? It's the... No sightseeing, Albert. Give up on the idea. Sometimes it's hard to see any warmth in those eyes, Barak. Lobanzisk? What's all these about? Necessary precaution. Yes, I think I understand. You do? Well, Iris told me that when you meet Lobanzisk at his office some days ago, he asked how Mr. Natsume was doing. Yes, that's right. I remember he being surprised at the time and thinking it was nice of him to ask. Point is, Mr. Natsume is still alive and well. Even though it's been more than 6 months now since he stood trial with the Reaper as the prosecutor. Ah, you mean the Reaper influence doesn't stretch overseas? Those in the Reaper's size matter as days of, or sometimes months after the acquittal. Has been the part and up to now. Shit. But of course we know that both Mr. Natsume and Gina were completely innocent. True. Perhaps that governs the Reaper action. The truly innocent are spared. But I don't want to take any chances with a close personal friend. Barak? Right, I must touch Nipponese. This man shouldn't leave the country without delay. That's why I'm packing him off for Germany. Like, I'm packing him! Like, Jesus, calm down, man, Zisk! Packing him! Out of Germany at once. Okay. Jesus, right. Yeah, sure. Okay. Does your friend shaped packages get any say in it? Goodness, was this your attention all along then, Loban 6? Cool, where people think of him as the Reaper. The man seems absolutely merciless, and yet sometimes it feels though I don't understand him at all. The time to go, Albert. Back to prison for the time being. Back to prison for the time being. Yes, right. Well done, Mr. Naruhodo. Thank you so much for everything. Not at all, Professor. It was a pleasure getting to know you. Best wishes, Professor Haragreen. Well, once the dust has settled, you must come to visit me in Germany. Anyway, goodbye for now. Auf Wiedersehen? Auf Wiedersehen. Sorry, I was thinking about Das Vidania, but it was like, wait a moment, that's Russian. Auf Wiedersehen. Now, my Japanese friend? Yeah? We have matters to discuss. Can you spare me some time? You want to talk with me? Me? Baba? I'll be waiting in the courtroom in 10 minutes. 10 minutes. Okay, I'll begin. I'll come in. It was like the music. Like, well, that's strange. For some reason, I didn't get the sense of impending doom as we walk away this time. Just the music of impending doom. The enigma, Baron Van Zix. What does he want to discuss, I wonder? Answer waiting in the courtroom, I suppose. Here goes then. Hiya! Hiya! That's it? Okay, 24th October. You open this? So you are satisfied you saved the guileless scientist from great injustice. Yes, I think so. I believe at least that the man innocent could be proven. Anyway, I imagine you'll be wondering where my animosity towards your Japanese come from. Kind of. Well, at first I thought you just didn't like me. Like most people didn't like me. I imagine you saw me as a pretentious child from an important land who had no business being here. I imagine like Van Zisk like... But now I think differently. You just hate me in general. You clearly know your overweight. I will guess that some specific incident led you to dislike of my race. Mikotoba, would you tell me what happened, please? The professor. I thought I never heard that name in this courtroom again, to be honest. He took your brother's life. The professor is Japanese? Clint. My brother was Clint Van Six. 15 years ago when I was when I was still just in my teens. He was already the director of prosecution and key member of the judiciary. I looked up on him, he was everything I aspired to be. He was involved in the establishment of justice system in foreign countries as well. There was exchange programs between Britain and other nations then to share knowledge and ideas. As part of one of those programs, 3 judicial students came to Britain from my homeland, the Empire of Japan. Oh, it was 16 years ago then. One of them could have been my father. Of course, when my daughter Mikotoba well. I had no idea. I was a minor at the time, trained on the prosecutor office. One day, Clint introduced me to the 3 visiting Nipponese. So you actually meet my father. And his colleagues were polite and amicable. They were adept at their work and accepting interstanders. It was my first encounter with the Nipponese spirit. It made a very great impression upon me. But 6 years later, that's when it happened. The investigation was going nowhere. There were no suspects, even just an ever-growing list of victims. And in the end, my brother became one of them. The last, in fact, before the case was finally resolved. I'm so sorry, though, Van Six, truly. Clint was always ready to put his life on the line for justice anyway. So he wouldn't have wanted it any other way. He lost his life to the killer. It was his victory in the end. For me personally, though, it was a great loss. I found myself in a very dark place indeed. When I finally found out the killer's identity, the reason why no one had been able to catch the man sooner ceased to be such a mystery. He'd been hiding in plain sight all the time. Plain sight? Are you aware of political events 10 years ago? There was a period of extremely sensitive diplomacy between the British and Japanese empires. A new treaty was being forged, I think. Correct. The Anglo-Japanese Treaty of Friendship and Navigation was being concluded. The reasons of both countries were deep, extensive political discussions. Which is why this particular killer appearance in court was conducted as closed trial. If the British public had known the identity of the killer, not only would the treaty have been in jeopardy, our 2 nations could have very well have ended up at war. What? A war between Britain and Japan? That would mean... Oh my, you mean to say that professor was... one of the students?
When the trial reached its conclusion earlier, I thought to myself, yes, it's time. Time for you to come face to face with this hideous monster. I borrowed the key for the mask from the proprietress of the Waxwork Museum. So see for yourselves now. Confirm it with your own eyes. The truth that's been hidden this past decade.
That's the professor?
Yes, that's him.
Until now, the thought never even crossed my mind. That the mass murderer, whose crimes shook Britain as never before, was Japanese.
Was Japanese!
Wait a minute. That face. I feel as though I've seen it somewhere. It's strangely familiar.
Is Kazuma father? It's just speculation, by the way.
Father. What? Father? Father? Kazuma!
Kazuma!
My best friend, Kazuma Asogi. After a whole year, finally his memories returned. As he stood there before me, Ryunosuke. Hello again. My friend.
Kazuma-sama!
Judicial Assistant Mikotoba.
It's been a very long road. Thank you. Thank you for guiding my friend here when I could not.
It was an honor.
I knew you wouldn't die that easily. Kazuma.
Kazuma! You're still alive!
I owe you thanks, too, for taking good care of that in my absence.
Oh,
Karuma?
Karuma. The great blade of the Asogi clan. Passed down through the generations. When we left Japan, this sword was at my friend's side. The Japanese man's katana is his soul, and he couldn't be parted from it. But then, when the incident happened, it was Susato-san's wish that I inherit the sword, and I've kept it with me ever since, along with my memories of the friendship we shared. With this by my side, I always felt that you were watching over me somehow.
I've made it. At last.
Father. Are you saying... Surely not. You mean, you knew all this time? I'm looking at it. But... I still can't believe it. This mass murderer is Kazuma's father.
Kazuma-sama.
Ryunosuke, we have much to talk about, but now is not the time. I'll be seeing you.
That's all Kazuma said. Before he turned and left us there, in the courtroom.
He's dying again? So he's leaving after the major man who took my brother's life, is he? Yes, Kazuma Asogi, my best friend. 3 months ago, when Lord Strongheart introduces us, I had an inkling there was something there, some connection. But why did Lord Strongheart do that? Why did he make Kazuma Law Van Zix's apprentices? And he was suffering amnesia too. The man was apprehended, even executed, but his legacy just won't die. Anyway, that's all I had to say. I thank you for meeting with me as I asked. Years ago, my grandmother took me at the railway station, where there to meet my father from the train. For me, it was the first time I ever seen him. Poor Susato, she's tied up with painful memories of her too. She never talked about these with me before though. Took time to adjust to having father around, but just when I was starting to get used to it, he called me into his study one day. He told me that a great friend of his had passed away in London. That the friend had left behind a son, a boy 7 years of my senior. For told me that the boy had made a promise to his late father, so he was studying to become a defense lawyer. Went to help, so I studied to become a qualified judicial assistant. I'm sure you will work out. A young man whose name was Kazuma Soki. So you see, that's how he and I met.
For a brief moment, my great friend had returned, only to disappear again all too soon. But in that fleeting encounter, something stirred. Something that had been dormant for a long time. As if great wheels had been set in motion. I could almost hear them creaking into life. In some ways, it was the end of a chapter, but in many, it was the start of a new one.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the end of the episode. Holy fucking shit, so many things happening around. My eyes are burning. Tears. Because Kazuma is alive! God fucking damn it! And yeah, we had a strong feeling with him, so whatever. Not shocking. More as shocking that his father was a mass murderer, even though someone may or may not theorize that maybe he's come here to defend his father, even though there was evidence against him, I guess. I don't know. Could be, perhaps. Some doubt into it. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, the end of the episode. Hope you enjoy. Hope you love it. And hope I love lots of things. And I'll see you again very, very soon. Love you, bye.